My name is Vincent Simoni, and in today's lesson, I'm going to show you the major difference between a pro forehand and an amateur forehand. Let's begin. So, the number one thing that is stopping you from looking like a pro on your forehand is that you are worrying about what the arm is doing and what the racket is doing, rather than what should be happening with the body. In order to create great amounts of power, you got to get dynamic and athletic on this shot, and we need to use our bigger muscles, which make up over 90% of our body weight, instead of sending our arm, which is maybe 7 to 15 pounds, sending it on a lone mission, okay? Sending it out to battle without any support. So instead, I'm going to show you how to implement your body, and I'm going to show you the things that the pros do that most of the amateurs don't. So right off the bat, an amateur player will usually start off the forehand by turning, okay? And their idea of a turn is setting the racket back, making a letter C, okay? It's no longer acceptable to use the word turn. Instead, we now call it a coil. Amateur players usually don't keep their non-hitting hand on the throat of the racket. Some of them don't even put it there at all. And usually the racket's kind of just floating out here and the other arm is just down here, too cool for school, okay? We want to feel like we're on balance, and in order to turn as a unit, we need to do these few things which I'm about to show you. So step one, let's get into an athletic position, something amateurs also forget to do, and they constantly have to be reminded, or it's not ingrained in them yet. So if that's you, maybe it's time to start. Feet wider than shoulder width apart. The pros are never on their heels. We're always up on our toes. And we do this so that we can get around faster. We're ready to, pounce, explode up into the ball, and we can just pivot quickly like this. It's so easy. It's like a dance, okay? It's like boom, okay, whatever. Crip walk, I'm not the best dancer. You get the idea. So when we go to start the swing, we're turning our entire body like an HB pencil, okay? We're gonna rotate like this, boom. And we're gonna have our elbows up and away from our body, and we're gonna maintain this space in which we could shoot a basketball from the start of where we recognize it's gonna be a forehand to boom, the turn. Notice how my racket is still relatively in line with my belly button. The only difference is that I changed the grip. I changed the grip from continental over to my forehand grip. Some people start in the forehand grip. So if this is you, it's even easier to boom, just turn your shoulders. Keep them level, turn your body as a unit. Now, another thing, once we get to here, if we've checked the boxes that pros do and amateurs don't, is that pros will now turn the upper body past the hips to get a bigger range of motion when we go to start the swing. A lot of amateur players don't turn enough on the forehand, and it's why they lack that power and pop that pro players do. So in order to store our energy and get the full range of motion, once we get to here, we want to keep the non-hitting hand on the throat of the racket, and then we want to turn past our hips, okay? Now from here, pro players will start the swing, okay? And we're gonna load our legs and start the swing from the ground up and have our racket come through as the last part of the kinetic chain. What a lot of amateur players do from this point is they will now wrap the racket behind their body and then only swing with the arm, okay? These two things are probably what is hurting you most. If you find that, your shot just doesn't have that same sound, that same pop as those good players at your club, it's probably because of this. So from here, okay, our arm is loose and relaxed, and I'm gonna show you how to get lag and reduce the range of motion and start, looking like a pro player, or at least one that can hit the ball like a pro player. So from here, the racket needs to free fall into pat the dog, and we're gonna sit in a chair, okay? Our non-hitting hand also needs to go parallel with the lines in the court. We don't want to forget about it. Like I said before, being too cool for school, a lot of people can check the boxes up until this point. Then when they go to start the swing, they forget about the other arm, okay? And they go like that. You don't want to do that, okay? Pro players have the non-hitting hand out And then what they do is they use it to uncoil and pull themselves into the shot. Now, from this power position, we've stored our energy and we're about to release it, pounce and load. We're sitting in a chair, and what pro players will do is they will start to swing from the ground up. They will fire the hips, okay? Start lifting up with the legs. The toes, the chest, all need to be facing our target, and we're gonna pull ourselves in, pull this arm, okay, under our armpit or under our chest area, and then we're gonna go and have the racket come through as the last part of the kinetic chain. Now this is called lag, okay, or what I like to refer to as swing efficiency, effortless fluidity and power. In order to get this, we need to have no tension in our arm, something that most amateur players don't understand on the forehand. There's a reason why pros can go out there for 3 hours, seems like they're whipping the ball over, 100 miles per hour, and some of them are, and they're like not getting injured. It seems like they're not trying. It's because they're not. Like I said at the beginning of this video, we're doing the work with our major muscles. Like I said, loading the legs, uncoiling with our chest and our hips, and exploding fully before contact, okay? So what you're gonna do is feel like your arm is loose and relaxed, and you're gonna set it out here along for the ride. Don't tuck it in, don't tuck it away. You wanna feel like when you go to swing, that you go forwards with the body and the arm comes through loose and relaxed, sort of like a whip. You're gonna pretend that your racket that you spent your hard-earned money on, okay? Or, if you're teaching this to kids, the racket that, their parents bought them with their hard-earned money is gonna smash into pieces. You're gonna pretend that there's a brick wall behind you, okay? So when we go, we only go forwards. We don't wanna disconnect the racket from all this stored up energy that we've built up and that we're gonna go release, okay? Extra movements are detrimental to your success on the forehand. So from here, we're gonna go keep the racket in front of our body, and then we're gonna fire the body and have the racket come through loose and relaxed as the last part of the kinetic chain. Now, the last thing that amateurs usually don't get that the pros always do is the top spin aspect of the forehand. We don't wanna feel like we brush up on the ball and swing too high, okay? That's actually gonna cause you to skim the ball and not hit right through it. Assuming we've done everything correctly up until contact point, we wanna feel like we're smashing through a brick wall, okay? And how you're gonna get topspin is while your wrist is back at contact, you're gonna contact the ball and you're gonna feel like you shatter through a glass window. And you're gonna cover the top of the ball with what I refer to as the windshield wiper, okay? It's a pretty common term, but I don't think a lot of people understand it and how important it is for getting racket head speed. So we wanna feel like we hit, relax the wrist, and cover the top of the ball with the windshield wiper, okay? And it's as simple as that. I also recommend catching the racket below your shoulder because it will just make it easier to hit through the ball if you've kind of ingrained in your mind, this vertical brush, you're gonna have a tough time getting power, and it's more likely to cause you to send your arm on a lone mission too if you're just thinking about brushing. So throw the arm loose and then cover the top of the ball with the windshield wiper to get spin and keep it down and under control. Those are a few things that you can implement fairly quickly with a little bit of practice to start looking like a pro player on your forehand. In any event, thanks for tuning in. If you like what you learned here, I recommend taking the next step and joining the Tennis Doctor community. Join the clinic, get the antidote, and try it out for free. The link is down below. I'll see you there. Tennis Doctor is a self-help tennis book for adults. You could have 40-inch biceps, rapid anticipation, fancy feet, and a brilliant mind, but if you have poor swing mechanics, you will never win. You can have slow reactions, terrible footwork, and be 40 pounds overweight, yet still make a good shot if you can produce a perfect swing. By reading Tennis Doctor, you own the secret to a perfect swing, and if we have to, we'll call you an Uber to get you to the ball in time. Read it now on Amazon.